Hi, so this is actually day 23. The days are running together now. I've forgotten how to count, but yeah, this is the real day 23.
Good morning. We are in Chuncheon and we're in another very interesting place. Everyone is furiously practicing their reverse parking, which is the tradition here. Just generally driving like maniacs in the car park. But this place will feel very familiar for a great many people. It's called Jade Garden. I don't think anyone actually live here, but it promises to be interesting. We're almost there. So this place is going to be busy. It's a beautiful day, and to be honest, there's not a lot of attractions around this area, so everyone makes the most of it. But it's beautiful. It's about to get really, really crowded, so let's go see some stuff. So it sounds like the birds and the insects and wildlife are trying to outperform against the stereo system and the crowds. It's quite interesting, and it is about to get really, really crowded in here. The people pulling into the car park is just endless, and there's a line at the ticket office already, and the place opened at 9. It's currently 10. Oh my goodness, tulips. Tons of them. Boy, they look really pretty from this angle. But I have a feeling that once you're down amongst them, they're a bit more spread out. Everyone seems to be here for the tulips and having their photos taken with the tulips. But they are stunning, and there's such a wide variety of them, and they've been quite well planted out. Quite dense. But then when you take a closer look, they're probably all spaced about 10 centimetres apart. But it's creating these magnificent big drifts. And to top it off, the magnolia that we want is right here. Every now and then you see a butterfly go floating through. Everywhere I go, I am having to stop so that other people can take photos of themselves rather than of the actual surroundings. This obsession with photographing oneself is quite extraordinary. Here we go again. I don't understand it. So these have got to be pretty famous gates, really. They feature in a number of different dramas, but the one I recently watched was Lady and Young Gentleman, and this is part of his estate. So a lot of filming occurs around this area. And there we go. Oh my god, I recognise these from somewhere too. It rings a bell, but I can't remember where exactly.
So that was Jade Gardens, otherwise known as Gardens of the Morning Calm, and I can't say that it was particularly calm for me. Anyway, we're off to find a Buddhist temple because we know how calming that can be.
So we're on our way to temple, and it looks like we've got a bit of a hike. And some traditions are still practiced. Got to get out of the way of a truck, I think, or a van or something. Oh, a car. Apparently you can drive them. Who knew? So anyway, you remember the domes of Gwangju? Well, some of those traditional practices are still going today. So, and these are dotted everywhere in the Korean countryside. You just drive along the highway and you see them on mountainsides. Doesn't seem to matter which way they're facing, whether it's sunrise or sunset, they just are. You remember me talking about how low some of the rivers and streams were? Well, here's another example. I read somewhere, I can't remember where it was, but just recently, that this entire area is now under a drought alert. And it's spring. So obviously the winter melt was insufficient this year, let alone whatever else is going on ecologically. So what I thought was going to be a quick excursion up to a temple has turned into a major exploit. Thank goodness it's probably about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, so I can take my time. You won't believe it, I've just found Pania's forest cousin. Oh, and she has a snake. Awesome. Check this out. I don't know what her story is, but, or is it a him? It could be a him. Probably is a him, actually. So the story goes, it is actually a her. The snake is a him. I was confused because she's actually clothed herself as a monk. So, you know, and let's face it, you're not built like a New Zealander in this country, that's for sure. The next thing you start to see loads of near a temple, and these little stone cairns are all people's wishes, so you don't ever knock them over. That's not the done thing. They're not towers for you to bump over. They're people's best intentions and best wishes. Gosh, this place is just littered with all sorts of remarkable things. So this was a pond that was created in the Goryeo period and was mentioned in a Chinese poem in the early Joseon period, and it's called Yongji, which means reflecting pond. So we're still climbing upwards. The difference is now we have lanterns, and so we must be getting closer and closer to some significant sites. Now, the thing that gets me about this, man, this is one heck of a hike. It was damaged during the Korean War and rebuilt. So, what on earth? The place is in a deep carved valley that is got like big rock embankments both sides. So getting in here is quite a mission. Now, this is something you see frequently at a Buddhist temple as well. I'm not too sure what their practice is, but I know what we do in Māoritanga, so I'm going to do the same. I've just done what we would normally do for a flea or entry into a site that's tapu, sacred. I'm pretty sure if any of them want to see that, they'll appreciate it. Oh my gosh, this is stunning. This tree is just smothered in flower and bees. Lots of happy bees. it looks kind of like an apple flower, but I think it might be a plum. Kwang Namu tree. Tree, I know Namu. Gong Namu. Go Kwang Namu. Wow, 감사합니다. We have arrived. Now, I just passed a whole school group a moment ago, and I would hazard a guess to say that they have actually left their blessings here as well. But don't the gardens look amazing? There's the store where you buy all your bits and bobs for your devotions. There's the candles. There's the roof tiles. So these roof tiles are not cemented in, they just sit in place, and then they have to be replaced fairly regularly. So we'll put a blessing on that. Oh, there we go. There's a big bell. Looks stunning. Okay, I'm turning you off before we get in trouble. So there's no piped music. No prayers at the moment, it's a bit early. Just the sound of birds and bees and occasionally the bells on the eaves ringing in the breeze, which is quite lovely. And I know it's going to annoy the billy-o out of Mum, but I'm going to bring one of those bells home. That was quite an undertaking getting up here, but I've got to say, I really felt that that was worth it. It's not a lot to see, I guess, but if you're into Buddhist temples, it's a good one to come and visit. I think for most New Zealanders that love the outdoors, it's the hike up here that is the most satisfying, and the fact that you have this beautiful temple environment to take your time to recover in once you reach the top. So, as I did when I arrived, so shall I do when I depart, and make sure that whatever spiritual energies have been attached have been released before I cross the bridge and head back down the mountain. So according to this map, I've seen most of the attractions up to the temples. However, there's 4 more significant sites, but only if you're keen on climbing right to the very top of the mountain, which we're not doing that today. By this time I was pretty famished, so I stopped off at San Juan Road, which is basically wall-to-wall cafes. You're spoilt for choice up there, but fantastic views out over the city, and I had a croissant and some really nice coffee before heading back to the apartment. So I'm on my way back to my accommodation, but I've stopped by the waterfront because there's all these war memorials all along here. Some memorising the Battle of Chuncheon and battles 1, 2, 3 and 4 by the looks of things. But yeah, it's like one after the other. The statuary are interesting because some look distinctly northern. After that, I pretty much collapsed at the apartment. So that was all for day 23. Tomorrow, day 24, means that we'll be leaving Chuncheon and returning to Seoul, but
We might make a stop along the way. Hopefully everything goes smoothly. It could be a big travel day.